Alright, let's see if we can make this gorgeous cane together. We are using 6 colors today. I think they're so pretty together. This is the end result of the cane that I'm doing in this tutorial. I did another one just like it, but with white blended into the color, and that's how this turned out. I made a whole nother video a couple of weeks ago, but I accidentally erased most of the footage. So this is a cane from a few years ago when I made the picture tutorial of the altered tie-dyed cane. This is both versions of that, made out of the same colors. This one is one that I made only 3 colors with the glitter cane. This one is 9 colors. So you can use however many you want. You just need enough sections of each color to make it work. So for this one today, we're using 6 colors. We've got fuchsia, orange, zinc yellow hue, green, cobalt blue hue, and purple, as well as white. I've used about 1/4 of a 2-ounce block of each color. I divided a 2-ounce block of white into 6 sections, and I used 1/6 of a white 2-ounce block for each color, blended it in fully, and this is what we have here. So for each one of these, what we're going to do is to take them long ways like that. I've rolled them out on my pasta machine to my thickest setting so that I've got a good base to start with. And we're going to take them, fold them over, and fold them over again so that you're pretty close to already having a square. But we're going to make square logs out of each color. We're going to try to get them to be about 12 inches long because, like I said, you need enough sections for each color to match the number of colors that you're using. So since we have 6 colors, we're going to need 6 sections, equally length sections of each color to be able to put this thing together with. All I'm doing is taking each one and making a square log rather than rolling it out into a cylindrical shape. So we're just going to keep on working on trying to get each color made into a 12-inch long square log, all the while trying to keep air pockets out, which is almost impossible, but it's doable. If you do have pockets that show up like that, you can poke and try to push them out. Sometimes that works. So here, I'm going to slice and stack. It's much easier. So you just slice it long ways, stack it on top, and as you're doing it, you press it down so that you get all the air out as you go. And it makes it a lot easier. And continue on and get it to 12 inches as well. So once you've gotten to that point, what we're going to do is to go ahead and start slicing them into 2-inch sections. So you can press out any extra air at this point. Hopefully, but you can. Sometimes it still escaped, but it's okay. You just keep doing it with every color, and you'll have 6 of each color that are 2 inches long. So I'm going to start with fuchsia. I'm going to work in the rainbow order, so I'm going with orange, yellow, green, blue, and then purple. The next line up, we're going to start with the last color. So purple goes first, then fuchsia, then orange and yellow and green and blue. And then the next line up, you'll start with blue. You're going to offset all the way up. You're going to offset the colors by starting each new line with the last color from the previous line. And it ends up with a diagonal line of your starting color running up through the middle. That's what you need to be able to accomplish in order to get this thing done. Basically what we're doing is what they call an ICAT cane. It's essentially like a static pattern, sort of. Not really anything in particular, but just striations of lines. So take a little time here to press out as much air as you can, because when you're laying those squares down, I didn't do it very carefully as I should have. So I am sure that I trapped air in there as you want to avoid doing. You can use your palms and press in on the sides and sort of press in from the middle upward, and it will help to relieve some of the air that might be trapped in there. And here's where we get into how you have to turn it. So if you turn it that way, you're going to have that sort of pattern. If you turn it where that you're smashing it down on the tops and the bottoms, you're going to have that. If you turn it upright where you've got your line running up through the middle, then you're going to have this typical tie-dyed look. So that's what we're going to go for here. So then you start pressing down, and you want to have your what was your previously diagonal line of your starting color. You want to have that running up through the middle and start pressing down on it once you've turned it sideways on its diagonal. So you'll have it vertically facing at this point. And just press down and sort of wiggle and push, gently but firmly down on it until it becomes sort of an elliptical shape, kind of like the shape of an eye. And just keep pressing on it, and be very, very aware of your lines and how your lines are going. You want to keep them as smooth and even, straight and even as you can, because we're going to use those in mirroring. Now go ahead and try to press in the sides as well, so that you end up with more of a rectangular shape. Take the elliptical shape and turn it oval and then rectangular, because you're not going to want to have sides that dip in. When you go to try to mirror it, you're going to want them to line up and butt up to each other cleanly and neatly. So get it as as angular as you can, and all the while keeping your lines straight, keeping everything as, I do this sort of wiggle pull. It's kind of like you just firmly hold the sides and wiggle and pull it. And see, that's how it looks when you the very first manipulation of having pushed it together like that. That's just one time. So we're going to mirror it once. And that's how it looks right now. I'm never happy with just that first mirror. I need a little bit more. I usually like to go for 3. I think that's really cute and really pretty. But I'm going to go ahead and mirror it some more anyway. So go back to the same thing you were doing before, keeping your lines straight and just pressing it out and, reducing and compressing it, elongating it, and just always mindful of the lines. I use a stamping block, like what you would use with clear stamps. I use that to be able to kind of keep it all as even as possible. Sometimes it's real easy to let some of your clay get bowed out, and you know, it ends up, that's how you end up with such a huge, what you call a waist end, or the butt end of it, if it bows out a lot. So as much as you can, you try to avoid that. So I use a stamp block that way. It helps to keep it solid. And just keep on pressing and pulling and stretching and all the stuff. I let it overhang a little bit on either side of the 0 and the 6, and find that center points of 3 to cut it. I just do that because you're always going to have some of what they call waste on the ends. But look at that. Isn't that pretty? That's just with having mirrored it. This is the second time. And it's just so pretty. I love it. It's always such a surprise. So you want to, when you mirror it, you want to try to line your lines up like that on the inside as well, as much as you can. Nobody's going to be able to do it perfectly, but you know, if it gets way off, it's pretty obvious. So, and definitely keep those waist ends, because you can do some pretty things with them. All kinds of, you can do swirly beads or Natashas, or, you know, any number of things can be done with that. So don't ever look at it as waste. So I'm just doing some more of the compression, reducing, elongating it, trying to get it down to where I can do one more mirror on it. I really like the way it looks to have mirrored it 3 times. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is the 3rd time of mirroring. And I just love it. So you always want to try to line up your insides as well. You can see it better from your angle when you try to do that. When you're looking at it over top of it, you'll be able to see down in there to see where the lines go, and line them up better than what I was showing you there. I'm going to save some of that just as it is, instead of doing the next step with it. I'm just gonna keep it rectangled like that. I like the way that looks. So, but here, what we're going to try to figure out from this point is if we want it to be dark on the inside or light on the inside. So whichever one you're going to choose, see, you're going to have, that's dark on the inside with a light border. This is the one that I made the other day. So when you piece it together, you're going to have a dark center, and you're going to have a light borderline. So I think what I'm going to do with this one is, and that shows how differently they look together, even though they're the exact same colors. It's just the way that they're blended. So, but with this one, since I did that one with the dark on the inside, I'm going to go ahead and do light on the inside for this one. And all I'm going to do here is try to keep the base of it, I'm going to try to keep the bottom of it, the purple part, as flat and as wide as I can, while at the same time trying to pinch in the top part without actually folding it over. It's going to pucker some, but you don't want it to just fold in on itself. Doing it this way slowly, and you know, really using the length of your thumbs like that to press in, it's gonna cause there to be some you know, the pattern will bow a little bit that way, but that's okay. It's part of it. And like I said, it'll pucker up there in the middle a little bit too, but that can cause some really nice effects in the end result as well. So that's okay. So you just, once you've gotten to that point, you can really start to bring that top together and make sure that it's all very triangular. When you have it in this shape, you can do a lot with it. You can do it as a hexagon. You can do alternating on itself so that you have sort of a chevron pattern out of it. There's all sorts of things you can do with a triangular shape like that. So at this point, I just like to keep it that way, just one single triangle. You can add, you could double it over if you wanted to. You could make it the whole hexagon and turn the cane into the entire hexagon, if you wanted to do that. But like I said, I like to keep it like a triangle because you have more options that way. You can, when you piece it together, you can make it hexagonal, or you can make it the chevron sort of zigzag pattern, or there's so many things more that you could do with it that way. So that's why I like to keep it as just that one triangle. But isn't that pretty? I just love it. Look at there. I just love that. It's so nice. And see, this is how it looks when you would put it together. Of course, I sliced it way too quickly. It really needed to sit, and and it was so warm when I was doing it. But anyway, you get the gist. You can see what it looks like. I didn't mess it up too much by slicing into it that quickly. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you make it, and I hope it turns out really awesome for you. Thank you for your patience and your time. All right. Have a good day. Bye.